See you guys in Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the second Builders Lab Masterclass. Last week, we talked a little bit about emotional intelligence and how men in business should consider navigating it. Tonight, we're going to be talking about something that's dear to my heart, and that's simply effective communication. And it's dear to my heart because I battled a speech impediment. I used to stutter a lot, and I used to walk in the rooms, and I used to just hide and pray and hope the ground would open and swallow me, or I would just disappear within the walls. I had failed to manage the stage that life had given me. And so, as you come into this webinar tonight, we're simply talking all about communication, how to do it, how to become better at it. But before we do just that, I want to take you on a journey, and this journey is going to require you to have a sheet of paper, but also to have a pen or a pencil. I want you to get a sheet of paper, get a pen, get a pencil, and then we're going to do something quite interesting. And then we're going to have a conversation because that's what tonight is all about. Tonight is all about conversations centered around communicating effectively, developing the art of what it means to speak publicly and to do it well as a good representation of yourself. And so I'm going to give you 5 more seconds to find that sheet of paper, 5 more seconds to find that pen and pencil. And when you've got it, I want you to just type into the chat, say, I got it. Once you've gotten it, I want you to type into the chat. I see you, Jude Aubrey. I want you to type into the chat, I got it. You see those coming in? It's good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And now that you've gotten it, I want you to do one thing for me, and you're going to maintain this until I ask you not to. And that is simply to close your eyes. And I know it's hard to tell because you're in your homes, but I want you to close your eyes. I still see some eyes open. We have some I got it coming in the chat. That's good, that's good, that's good. Now, with your eyes closed, and your eyes will remain closed for the duration of this period. I want you to draw the shape of your head. If it's big, if it's small, I want you to factor that in. I want you to draw the shape of your head. Please don't drive with your eyes closed. Keep your eyes open. That's only for Junior. And then I want you to draw the shape of your eyes. Big, small eyes. Remember, if you're just joining the chat, I want you to get a sheet of paper, get a pen. I want you to close your eyes for this exercise. Some people get type with their eyes open. Chris, I see you. If you're driving, that's fine. It's not a problem. Imagine that your eyes are closed, although it's on the road. I want you to draw the shape of your head. I want you to draw your eyes, eyebrows, if you desire. I want you to draw your nose. Make sure you draw the two holes that you breathe in and out. I want you to draw your ears, big ears, small ears, bad ears. I want you to draw those as well. And so for those of you driving, I love the fact that you're imagining it. And then I want you to draw your mouth. If you like to, smile, kiki, it's all of the jokes. If you're a miserable person, I want you to just draw all of those things. I'll give you 5 seconds to wrap it up. And as you wrap it up, I want you to open your eyes, take a look at the image you drew, and then I want you to type into the chat the first thing that came to your mind when you looked at the image you drew. For those of you who are driving, you shouldn't be texting either, but for this purpose, I want you to also think of the end result based on your imagination. Someone say, I'm a mess. Someone say, wow. Someone say, garbage. Someone say, not me. Who this is, clown, ugly. We see jokes. We see somebody say handsome. Okay, kudos to you. Your eyes were open. Somebody said out of order. Oh dear, clown balloon, crazy. That ain't look nothing like me. Total disaster. And we see Frankenstein. I wish I had kept my eyes open. We see cool dude, interesting clown. We see so many things coming into the chat. And the reason why I ask you to do that is to prove a few points. And the point is that every single day you wake up, Every day that you get dressed and every day you step out of your house, you're stepping into moments. Those moments can look like meetings for some people. It could look like interactions in the boardrooms. It could look like client calls. It could even appear to be negotiations. But it could also be decisions that move money, that move people, but also that move vision forward. Whether you like it or not, whenever you step into moments, you are already communicating. And the question I want to ask you is simply, how well do you communicate in those moments? Does your communication reflect the objects you drew with your eyes closed? Does it reflect the thoughts that went through your mind as you imagined while you were driving? How well do you own those moments? But also, the real question isn't if you communicate, it is how effectively you get it done. The reality is, some people get it right consistently, but many don't. Like the image each one of you took some time to draw. And it's not because they lack or you lack intelligence, but it's because people underestimate first impressions, they underestimate tone, they underestimate clarity, but they also underestimate presence. And those small things, or those four big things, they cause big opportunities. They cause people and individuals to mismanage moments. And they also cause opportunities to be forfeited. I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest as we navigate this conversation. And I want you to type into the chat if any of these statements apply to you tonight. Left the room thinking, I should have said something. Has anyone ever left the room thinking you should have said something? Said too much and wish I hadn't, or wish I really didn't say as much as I did. Or maybe you didn't say enough and you were overlooked in the room. Or maybe you said the right thing, but you said it the wrong way. I'm looking at the chat because I want to see those yes. I want to see that's me. I want to see those things coming through. Somebody said all of the above. Thank you for your honesty, Jamal. Now, if that's you, the reality is you may have fell into that category of people and individuals that may have mismanaged a moment because you failed to show up as the best version of yourself. As we look through the chat and we see the comments coming through tonight, notice how common this is. These aren't intelligence issues. These are communication moments, moments that weren't owned. And so tonight's conversation, it's simply designed to help you own those moments, not by accident, but by intention. And so, as we navigate the conversation on communicating effectively, as someone who battled speech impediments, as someone who battled mental barriers that said to me, when you step into the room, you don't belong, you don't deserve to be there, as someone who felt like, oh, you were saying too much in the moments when your nerves kicked in and they were jamming to the tunes of Ain't No Stopping Us Now. There was one core principle, one core thing that I continue to live by. And tonight I want to provide you with that to help you navigating owning moments and not mismanaging that. And that is simply the stage is yours. I want you to take a minute and type into the chat real quick. The stage is mine. The stage is mine. The stage is mine. And as you're typing, I'm imagining that wherever you are, you're saying it with boldness, you're saying it with authority. The stage is mine. It's good. I see them coming through. Keep it coming. The stage is mine. Because we are men on a mission. We are men in business. And the stage is definitely ours. Now, tonight, as we talk about the stage being ours and the stage being yours, and the stage is mine, I'm not just sort of referencing a physical stage. but I'm referencing every space life places you in. The moments when you walk into a room, that's the stage. The moments when you open your mouth, that's a stage. The moments when you sit silently and wish you would say something, it's still a stage. And if you're going to own those spaces and those stages that life has given to you tonight, you definitely need a framework. And that framework is going to be simple because we all had a long day. Somebody say, Amen. We all had a long day. And some of us, we are home and we waiting on dinner and some other things. I see you, I see you, I see you. And so we're going to make this sweet. And in order to do that, as we navigate the term stage, stage is simply an acronym, Chester. That's going to be me in 45 minutes. As we navigate stage, stage is going to be an acronym that will sort of frame how you communicate, that will frame how men in business should consider communicating. It will help you to understand that you have a responsibility to communicate with clarity, to communicate with confidence, but also to communicate with control. Somebody type into the chat, I am ready. Now, the first word in stage is simply S. And the S in stage is an encouragement to men in business to show up intentionally. The reality is, communication starts before you speak. And so, whenever you show up, you have to show up with a level of intentionality because people will decide if they will listen to you before you even open up your mouth. They will decide that on the premises and the basis of how you show up. So, show up with your presence. Does your presence say, I am fully here? Does your presence say you are fully there? Or does your presence say you are distracted and not interested? Show up intentionally with your presence. Don't just show up with your presence, but also remember when you show up, your body language speaks. What are your shoulders saying? What are your eye contact displaying? Confidence, nervousness, fear, but also what is your posture saying? Don't just show up with your presence. Don't just show up with your body language, but also remember whenever you step into the room, there's energy connected to you, and that energy flows through every interaction. Are you adding confidence with your energy, or are you draining the room? Something to consider. When you walk into a room, what shows up first? When you walk into a room, what shows up first? Is it your confidence or caution? Is it confidence or is it caution? Is it confidence or is it caution? And I like the fact that I'm seeing a lot of confidence in the chat because that's a good thing. But sometimes, depending on the kind of room you step into, and depending on what's at stake, while there may be confidence, there should also be a level of caution. And so don't be afraid to type caution if that's you. Because when I step into some rooms, both shows up. The confidence is there, but the caution is always in my back pocket because the caution keeps me accountable to be able to ensure my presence doesn't invade the space, but that my presence adds to it. Remember, your body introduces you before your voice does. And so show up intentionally. That's the S. Now, the T is simply a reminder regarding tone and timing. And tonight we are on time. Tone and timing. The reality when we think about tone and timing is simply this, and that's what you say matters. Yeah, your words carry weight, your words carry power, your words carry light. But the reality is, how you say what you say matters even more. The right message at the wrong time still misses the opportunity. And there are a lot of examples of that. Giving feedback in front of others, pushing a point when emotions are high, delivering urgency with aggression. How you say it and when you say it matters more. And sometimes it takes us understanding who we're talking to and who's in the room, knowing our audience, because when we know and understand who's in the room, We're able to frame not just the language, but we're also able to frame the tone to be able to connect to those in the room. Something I want you to consider. How many of you have ever been right, but still didn't get the results you wanted? You've been right, but still didn't get the results you wanted. That's a huge one. You could have the right motives with the wrong movements in the wrong moments, and you still could make a mess of things. Tone and timing is just like that. Tone decides reception. Timing decides impact. And so while you work to show up with intention, it's important that you're mindful of the T in stage, your tune, but also your timing. The A. The A simply is an encouragement to show up with authenticity, to be your authentic self. People don't connect to perfection, they connect to real. Look at the singing Bishop Lawrence Rowe. There's nothing polished. To some people may think there may not be much perfect, but the reality is whenever he shows up as his authentic self, and people connect to that. They connect to real. How real are you in the moments when you step into the room? You showing up as your authentic self, it takes us back to showing up intentionally, because if your energy is draining the room, chances are you're not showing up as your authentic self. Or maybe you're showing up too much as your authentic self, and that's a disclaimer. That's a disclaimer. And I'm going to clarify that a little bit more, because authenticity without awareness can become a barrier. And the reality is, so many people are stepping into rooms attempting to be their authentic selves, but they're mismanaging opportunities because their authentic self is not appropriate in the moment, but also their authentic self is not appropriate in the room at that time because the audience may not be the audience that could relate to that. And so there's several things, because barrier shows up, and whenever a barrier shows up, it simply means that our message can't be received. Something is restricting the message from being received from me to you. In this case, it could be you had a long day, you're tired, this young man just rambling on. But for somebody else in the room, it could be that maybe you're speaking without filter. It could be maybe your language isn't appropriate for the room. Maybe you're being real, but very disrespectful. Maybe you're leading with ego instead of intention. Maybe you're assuming honesty excuses your delivery. What have been the barriers that have showed up when you stepped into the room? And if you feel like you may have none, or you don't have any, I'm sure there's been a time when someone stepped in the room you were in and you noticed all the barriers, the way they dressed, the way they spoke, how they stood. Those things are real. And so as you journey, understand being authentic doesn't mean saying everything. It means saying the right thing the right way. And so the S, let's go back to the S. S is in stage, and that simply encourages us tonight to show up intentionally. T, tune and timing. A, be your authentic self, but also understand that there's a time and place to be your authentic self as well. Learn to read the room, as somebody said in the chat. And then the G. The G is simple. Get clear. That I had a mentor who always used to say to me, keep it simple, Andre. Keep it simple. Ensure we're able to understand. Ensure we're able to digest. Keep it simple. Clarity beats complexity every time. And so ensure your message is clear. Ensure the intention behind the message is clear. Ensure the outcome is clear also. Because if people leave confused, then it simply means you fail to communicate effectively. And because your business, your goals, your dreams are on the line, when you step into the room, you cannot fail to communicate effectively. Whether you're pitching the business plan, whether you're seeking funding, you'll sit in rooms where deals are decided. If people don't understand you, they won't invest in you. If people can't relate, they won't buy into it. And so before you speak, it's important that you ask yourself, what do I want them to know? How do I want them to feel? Or what kind of actions I want them to take when I am done? Because all of that will ensure that you show up intentionally. T, your tune and timing is in sync with your presence. A, authenticity. G, get clear, keep the message clear. And then the final thought in stage is simply E, engage. Don't just speak. Communication is not delivery, it's exchange. And sometimes when we want something, we become so demanding, we become so bossy, we become straight to the point, just the business of it. But communication is not delivery, it's an exchange. And that exchange requires dialogue, that exchange requires conversation. Ask questions, read the room, invite dialogue. If they're not engaged, they're not receiving. If they're not engaged, chances are they're turned off. If they're turned off, chances are you've already lost them, and that's one gone. Talking at people is easy, but connecting with people takes skill. And so I want to be honest with you for a moment, because the reality is most opportunities aren't lost because we didn't know what to say. They're lost because we didn't own the moment. And to communicate effectively, you must understand that it goes far beyond what you say, but it's how you say it and the nonverbal gestures and cues that indicate how you are in that moment. And so, for those of you that typed into the chat the things that I asked, this is a moment for us, because the reality is when you walk out of a room thinking I should have said something, when you walk out of a room thinking I said too much, when you walk out of a room thinking that didn't land the way I intended, that's not bad luck. That's communication without tension or intention. That's not bad luck. That's you not showing up and owning the moment. And to ensure that you own the moment even further, I want to give you some tips that you could use immediately. Not theory, not motivation, practical ownership tools. And the first is simple. You've heard this before. Think before you speak. Thinking before you speak, it gives your mind time to analyze how to respond. Some people fail to respond effectively because they fail to think before they speak. The second thing is pause. Silence is not weakness, but pausing gives you time. The old people used to say to let the thing dry in your mouth, but it also gives you time to breathe in and out, but also it gives an opportunity for the person who you're in conversation with to actually be a participant in the conversation. Pausing gives you control. Rushing gives it away. The third thing, manage your tone and pitch. People hear how you say it before what you say. And there are some people, they are good at actively listening. Listening not just to what you say, the fancy and the nice words, the rhythmic flow and the poetic feel, but they're good at listening to the underlining things, the how bad you really, really, really want it, and the what you'll take to really, really, really get it. Manage your tune and pitch. Give eye contact, because eye contact communicates confidence before words do. When you walk in a room, don't walk with your head down. I used to be that person because nerves and fears were just running through my body. Walk with your head up. Look at your audience. Look at the people you're in conversation with. Don't make it uncomfortable now, but ensure eye contact remains, because eye contact says you are confident, you are here, and this is your moment, and you're willing to own it. Match your body language. Match it to your message. If your word says confidence, but your body says hesitation, listen, your body is going to win. Be clear. There's no need to be clever because clarity builds trust, but confusion kills momentum. Confusion creates seeds of doubt. Be clear, not clever. Listen to understand, not to reply. Communication is a two-way street, and it requires engagement and dialogue. And if we're going to engage effectively, I have to listen. I have to take time to understand. Everything doesn't deserves an interruption or an interjection. No. And then the final tip that's extremely practical. Leave the room better than you found it. My mentor always used to say to me after every stage time, because I've had the opportunity to speak on platforms all around the world, from the World Islamic Economic Forum in Spain, the World Youth Forum in Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, and a few other countries around the world. And he would say, every time you go in front of an audience, whether it's an audience of two, the conversation, 500 or 5,000, leave the room better than you found it because every interaction should add value. Yes, there's something you need. Yes, there's something you want. Yes, there's something that you gotta have. But don't let those moments become all about you. Leave the room better than you found it. Ensure your interactions, ensure they add value. The reality is, every day you wake up, you put on your clothes, jump in your car, life is handing you a stage. Meetings, conversations, decisions, and moments that matter. And the stage doesn't belong to the loudest person. It doesn't belong to the most polished. It belongs to the most intentional one. And so remember, as you step into rooms, as you own the moments, as you step on the stages that life has given to you, show up intentionally. Be mindful of your tone and timing. Lead with authenticity, not your ego. Let us hear it in your voice. Get clear on your message and also get clear on your outcomes. Engage people. Don't just speak at them because the stage is yours and it's yours to own. Thank you so much. And so I think this is the end tonight. If you have any questions, you can feel free to drop them in the chat. Okay, thank you so much. I see the feedback coming into the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, no, we haven't, but we will definitely be sending that PowerPoint presentation to you. I decided not to do a PowerPoint presentation tonight, and I won't do one for the next session, only because after a long day, I think the last thing you may want to see is a PowerPoint. But I want to try to be as engaging as possible. And Ray Don, yes, I did mention I had a speech impediment. I still do have a speech impediment. There's some things that I've learned along the way that's helped me to tame it. And the first thing is really and truly to think before I speak. I went through a journey of sort of just practicing what I would say before I walked into rooms. And some people thought I was crazy. But as simple as, hi, my name is Andre Kelly, that helped me to prepare for every moment I stepped into. And then in the moments when I didn't have time to prepare, I thought it through. I thought before, I would speak, or I would think before I would speak. And so, thank you, thank you, thank you. The E is simply engage people, engage people. And David Williams, we see your contact in the chat. SBDC, I'm sure, is going to make sure we all get the recordings. Thank you so much. how many speeches have given? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've given a lot of presentations, a lot. The Bahamas, US, Canada. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so I think that's it for tonight. If there are no more questions, I'm going to invite SPDC's team, Jessica, to just come and close this out real quick.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Andre, again for a very informative session. I would like to see everybody takeaways as they leave. Good night, Rodney. Good night, Chester. Dominic. To be clear, okay. Think before you speak. Love that. Love that. Okay, so we will see you guys at the next Builders Lab, which is next week. Okay, and we'll make sure to send out the slides to everybody once received, okay? All right. Thank you again, Andre. Good night.